So Phil, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Phil, this is my wife Ananya. This is her greenhouse.
Hello, how are you? I am better than I deserve. Oh. Have they said, I haven't been involved in this, have they said something to you about this being in your front yard?
No, they said I need a permit to build this, and that it was whatever, I don't know. Just I got a ticket apparently. I don't even know about it yet.
But this is your front yard.
This is not my front yard.
Oh yeah. By city definition, it is your front yard.
It's behind my wall.
Every corner lot has 2 front yards.
So I can't have that in my front yard, is apparently what you're saying to me now?
You can't have any structure in your front yard. Oh, he had a job there. That's why he was here, the plumber. Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look down here, I'm sure you can see that line right there. That's that front building line. Had you come in to get a permit, we would have told you
Phil,
to
I
remind you
called.
about that.
I called and asked if I could build a greenhouse, and they told me no, I don't. So
No, you don't.
need a permit, and so I did that, and then
Who'd you speak to?
someone at your office, because I called code, it was last year, because I was going to build this. I've been planning this for a long stinking time, and that thing's under $3,000. And so, what are we supposed to do?
$5,000 thing? This right here is the only thing that applies to that. Remodeling or add-on project.
Okay.
Doesn't say anything about accessory buildings or even new construction as far as that goes.
So what do we do here? How's the solution?
Well, let me just tell you this. We had someone bring these right here in our office. Complaint. These are your covenants for this neighborhood.
So someone brought those. Who brought them?
Well, I don't know who it was. And we don't keep records of anybody that files complaints or anything of anything. But we want you to see that. And we don't enforce these, Kyle,
We have
okay?
nothing to do with
We don't have anything to do with them.
Okay.
But I want you to see them before you spend any money adding on to your building or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want you to do that and then somebody file a lawsuit against you.
Well, I don't. How am I supposed to know these? Or these aren't part of the stuff when I bought this house?
Yeah. But 2 things. Right there is one of them. In the side or front yard, even if you didn't consider this a front yard.
Okay, so this is my back of my house, the side of my house. Phil, what are you doing? What's he doing in there for?
Do what?
Why is he in there?
Just saying how this built, I'm sure.
Well, but you're saying my backyard here is my front yard now, because it's a corner lot.
Well, yeah.
Now, where's that defined?
Well, that's in the zoning code. I mean, it says any front yard, it has the definition of a front yard. Any yard with street frontage is considered a front yard.
They want you to take down your greenhouse, honey. This is what's coming up.
Now,
They're for the people trying to break in our house.
That's the deal about the garden.
That's like that.
storage building. It'd be no more than, how many square feet is that?
I don't know.
Any accessory buildings. Let's see.
So how does this apply to me? Why is this?
Well, this is your neighborhood. Like I said, we don't enforce covenants.
Right. Well,
But-
I never signed a covenant.
They go with the lots and with the houses.
And when you bought the house, you had to have gotten a copy of that, right? I know I got a copy of mine, but I bought mine.
So you don't know who's doing this.
And you can keep that.
So you don't know who is.
I know a gentleman that's talked to me, but I don't know his name.
Where does he live?
And that, I don't know that either.
So
He obviously lives around here somewhere.
Yes, no, I ran into him on the
they went to a
street.
lot of effort here to get this.
They were expecting us to enforce it, I think. Which, like I say,
And we told them, we don't enforce
We
them.
don't enforce covenants. Most neighborhoods, we wouldn't know.
And
like I
so
said.
these white people in the corner over here have this garden right there, but that's okay.
Hey, like I said, it's
Once
okay with
again.
us. It's okay with us. But if somebody wants to, you know, if you want to file a law, if they make you tear this down, if you want to file a lawsuit against them, you can
No,
take
I
up
think
their
it's,
garden.
I think that's pretty dumb.
What did you say they have?
A garden.
They got a garden out there, right there, next house over. And there are houses in here that have 4 outbuildings on them
Really?
that you don't enforce. And you're going to enforce this one.
Just became an ordinance,
Well, that's true. Well, it was
within
800
the
square
last,
feet.
there was no limit on the number of buildings, and now there is of total square footage. That was put in
About a year
a
ago.
year ago, year and a half ago, something like that. I don't know.
And I didn't see that ordinance.
Yes, that is.
So this is somebody who wants to complain about this. All right. So what do we got to do for you guys?
Well,
Because
The only reason I made
this
it-
is not my front yard. This is
Okay.
not my front yard.
Well, I can let you hash that out.
that's
with the
fine.
judge.
We'll go to court on that.
That's fine. Okay.
Well, what do we need to do for you,
You got it.
to be?
just like those people right there, their house, if they came in and said, hey, we want to add a bathroom out over here on this side, over here. First thing I do, I go over there and measure, see how far back it is, and say, no, you're in your front yard. Because, and who wrote that? I can't tell you that. Ever since I've been there, that's been in there that says corner lot has 2 front yards.
Okay.
Because you could have, those people or you, either one could have easily turned your house the other way. And although you didn't,
No, my address is over there.
Yeah.
This is
although
my
you
backyard.
did, that doesn't change the fact that
This is my backyard.
According to our definition on it, Kyle, your backyard ends right there at the corner of your house. And that right there is your backyard. Basically, almost like your concrete or your grass. Now, and the only reason we give you that is, I mean, we came out here to look at your building over there, okay? About making sure that's going to be compliant if you add on to it or connect them together. Does that make sense?
It's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. No, we're not. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna be able to do it. Tell them racist bastards will fight them. And Dr. Raines, before him, was a city employee who built it. And so those houses stick out down there.
yeah, probably that front building line probably
Okay.
go right down those eases. 25 feet off the property line, where the bed is.
So 25 feet off the property line? So 25 feet from the street?
No, from wherever your property line is, which is probably somewhere. I don't know. The city has a 50-foot easement. Your property line is somewhere. Right in here. I would guess.
You can go on in there, Jeff.
What?
You can go on in there.
Yeah, I don't know where your property line is, somewhere in there. That's a guess. 25 feet off the center, and then 25 feet.
So 25 feet to there.
If the road was centered, which is usually pretty close.
So if that's 25 feet off, I'm still okay
No,
on my setback.
you can't do anything in the first 25 feet, just like these people right here. If this guy right here said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna close my garage in, make a room out of it, and add on another 20 foot of garage out here, we'd say, no, you can't put it in your front yard. But, like I say, same thing for them. If they came and said, yeah, we want to take that window right there, cut a door, build a bathroom out here. Well, I'm gonna go find where their property
I get
line
it.
is.
Well, I'll
go
tell you what.
25 feet.
Let's get what we need for you, and then whoever that racist bastard is, let him sue me. Let him.
But now, no,
Because that's-
this is city code. That's not.
But this is okay where it's at.
No,
No.
no, it's in your front yard. You can't have any.
So you're
structure.
telling me now I'm going to take it down because it's in my front yard, even if we build something.
Oh, I'm not telling you that. I'm just saying the code says you can't put a structure in your front yard.
So what are we gonna
Corner
do?
lot has 2 front yards.
Just
So
like
what are we saying? You're gonna tell me I gotta take my wife's greenhouse down because my backyard is considered the front yard?
well,
Just tell me. I mean, let's just straight.
I would say, yeah. I mean,
corner lots have 2 front yards by city ordinance. And that you're welcome. You can go look and see the
Show me
definitions.
the ordinance, please.
Oh, it's in. Just go to the definitions of the
I've been-
city,
okay.
and it'll say front yard, yada yada yada.
I wish I would.
Any-
So it's behind
I didn't
it's
even think
behind
about
my
it being-
it's behind my fence.
Uh-huh.
But
They
your fence is not in compliance.
right.
either.
They should have long ago.
Okay, it's behind my fence, secluded in my backyard. So I can't put a swimming pool there. Because that would be my front yard.
True.
So you're telling me I can't do nothing with my yard?
Oh no, you can grow grass. You can do whatever, just like they can
I am
over
doing
here.
whatever.
Just like they
And
can.
another thing,
short
too.
of building a structure.
In your covenants, it says that any accessory building has to match your house.
Well, we are. If you look on the front, we're in the process of doing that.
Okay.
So we're putting the same
That
siding
means
we
the
have.
whole thing, not just
Well,
the
you
front
can.
of it.
No, okay.
You know what I mean?
But once again, that one's not us.
And that's
If
not
it's
us.
in that covenant sheet, that has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
We do not deal with covenants. Let's go look at this.
Yeah, we'll look at that.
Did Dr.
So,
Raines
but-
build this? Whoever
No,
built it
it
didn't
was
have
it was a city employee who built this. It was a police officer.
I wonder who on earth that was, because there's no. We look back, there's no permits on any of that either.
Of course.
You know who built the?
I have no. This was all built originally. Oh, the add-on we got permits for.
When did you
Okay.
build that? I thought you said that right there was there whenever you bought.
Oh,
the
this
house.
this last little piece right here we got.
Oh, the little back patio.
Yeah.
Doyle did that.
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah,
Yes,
and we got
okay.
permits for that
Okay.
because we made sure we weren't on that back line. Right,
The building itself already was.
that's correct because it matches the brick of everything. So could I put the greenhouse right here, or would I be too? It'd be less than
Gotta be
10 feet.
5 feet off that
5
fence.
feet on that case.
5 feet.
Yeah, you can put it there. I don't know any reason you couldn't do that.
No, absolutely not. I know of no reason you couldn't do that.
Yeah, but except for the expense of moving it,
Uh-huh.
you know, and redoing all the plastic.
I saw some kind of channel. I didn't see.
No,
what-
there's no channels. There's pipes driven in the ground.
Oh, I thought I saw some kind of.
All right. So this is what they're talking about to connect. Watch step. So what we're talking about is connecting right here, doing a wall and a roof and a door, and making a closet here so that would be heated and cooled. Is that what you said?
With a door on each side of it,
No, right here. Just one.
connecting it.
We don't need a door into there.
Do you have to have a door there on each end or no? I don't know if they would.
So
I have to look at that. I can't. My first instinct says yes, but I can't. If I can't prove that with the code, I'm not going to say yes.
yeah, because we just want to we're just going to make this a closet.
Sure. Make that a door.
Because the master bedroom's right there. This is the master bathroom.
Make that a door.
Make that, cut it out, and make it a door.
Sure.
And then just make it a closet and go that way to the end of this building, but not into the new part.
Yeah, it's
But-
right here.
And that makes this like an in-law apartment type thing. You know.
And it's got a mini split out
Yes. Mhm.
there. And what's this on the other side?
Just my office. Well, actually, storage right now.
Okay. And it's not, doesn't have a closet in it.
No, it does not have a closet.
Okay. Because that, when we put the closet in, that makes it a bedroom.
Yeah, there's no closet.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go. And Phil has to look that up as far as whether or
Yeah, I
not
don't-
you'd have
So
that
if we
door.
do spend $1,000 on this right here, we're good to leave it where it is until this person shows their face.
No. That,
No, I mean, where you're violating what our code says is it being a corner lot and that being in your front yard. As far as anything that's in those covenants,
yeah, I'm just going to hold this paper 1 second. I'm going to put a note here at the top.
And Kyle, I'll be glad to bring you
Not
a
us.
copy of where it talks about that being the front yard and no structures in the front yard and all that. I didn't even think about that being on a corner, because I hadn't even been by here.
So tell me something. How do you guys work? Do you is it someone calls? Do you drive around? How did you get turned on to this kind of thing?
Typically a complaint.
So
I mean-
so basically, if somebody doesn't like me or doesn't like my wife, they can just call and complain about us anytime they want.
If there's something legitimate, I would say, you know,
I
if
mean,
there's
we're not
a,
gonna-
yeah, we're not,
If we come out here and yeah, there is something that's not, doesn't comply with the code, then that's
Well,
when we,
so
because we get them all the time, then we go out there and they're like, they're not doing anything wrong. I mean,
yeah.
and if the people call back, we'll say, hey, we went out there and looked at it and there was no violation.
so if I build this thing here, then what?
Then you could put that in the backyard.
So I still have to move it.
I don't see any way around you having to move it, Kyle. I really don't. Just
How about a
because
variance? Can we go
you
before the
can't-
variance
you can't
committee?
get a variance on that, can you, Phil?
Why not? It's behind the fence. It's in my backyard.
When
I thought you
something,
couldn't
is-
change anything on the
right,
code.
when something and the variance allows, if it says yes, then the variance lets them do something in there. For example, the fence. Fence height is 6 feet. You can have a fence. That's perfectly legitimate. And the code says it's 6 foot tall. The variance, a lady goes to the variance and says, hey, my backyard neighbor's like this. I want a 7 foot fence. They can say yes. If the code said no fence, they can't come in and say, oh yeah, you can put up a fence. They can't change a yes or no. They can adjust what's there.
Basically a board of adjustments.
See, this is what makes me mad. Is I called down there and asked you guys, and
Well, Kyle,
but I didn't. And
I'm not going to say you didn't, but I'm going to tell you something. There isn't anybody in our office that if you just call them up and say, hey, do I have to have a permit for a greenhouse that's 15 by 20 or whatever, they're just going to say, no, you don't have. There's nobody that wouldn't say, well, let me let you talk to Phil or let me let you talk to
well,
the
I'm telling you, I called down there and
Male.
asked about it because I've been working on this for a year to
Male
build
or
this for my
female?
wife, a female, and it wasn't Marilyn.
I can't imagine.
Well, it might have been Marilyn. I don't know. It was a female.
Is what
It was a female. But I called down there because I wanted to check before I start, because this has been in the works and the plans to build this for my wife for a long time. This has been her dream, and she's been out improving our yard, we're planting all kinds of stuff. And all of a sudden, after she started doing that, we started getting calls, and you guys started showing up. So
we
you
don't
guys
just come out looking.
No, but you know what? You guys are being used as a weapon, and that's you guys need to know that.
Well, and I understand what you're saying, but that still doesn't change the fact that it's in violation. I mean, it really doesn't. And if Ken drove by here and saw that, he would write it up. I mean, I have no,
Oh, yeah.
especially if he sees it's new. Now you say there's some out here that's already got 4 of them in their backyard. If they've been there,
And they're new
well,
in the last year.
really,
Yes, and I can see them from the street. And there are violations all around this neighborhood every time. In fact, my neighbor across the street had a flatbed trailer. I had a boat in my yard, in my driveway. And Ken came and told me I need to move it. And I asked him about my neighbor's flatbed trailer in his grass on his yard. Ken goes, well, we don't do it unless someone complains. So he
Did you complain?
No, I wasn't going to do that. But that's the point.
That's
the point. Is
how long ago has that been?
that's been a while ago because I can tell you I've got it in the file because I got a written warning.
Because and I'm telling you, and I know Phil.
This is
would
why
vouch for
this is why that I felt like the code enforcement needed to be some work needed to be done.
Yeah.
You know, some good people in there, but some bad things have happened over the years.
Well, I know Phil would vouch for this, that it's almost an everyday thing that we have to make people move trailers off out of their yard or an abandoned vehicle out of their yard. And we run into a lot of this stuff with the corner lots, people having to move campers back. I mean, you know, we get threatened with lawsuits all the time, but it's plain as it can be in our code what it says. And well, what about one right down the street from me? And I told Ken, if you see one, you need to write it up because we can't enforce something over here that we don't enforce over here. And so, I mean, he gets them all the time for that, all the time. And it's not just strictly complaints, but we have to go look at it if there's a complaint. You know what I mean? But I know Phil would vouch for how much problems. Matter of fact,
Well,
I was on the phone this morning with Buck Gibson, and we were talking about some other stuff, and he said, "You got anything else?" And I said, "Buck, we've got to get something. We need to do something." I said, "The number one complaint we get is about boat trailers and campers and stuff like that in people's front yards or in their driveways.
That's correct.
People don't think that their driveway is considered a front yard, and I don't either. I mean, I got to admit, I don't. You know, when I go to mow my yard, I don't mow my driveway. You know what I mean?
That's correct.
So that's just my feelings. You know, we have to enforce what's on our.
But that's not what the ordinance says. The ordinance needs to be corrected. Right now, the ordinance says driveway, and it's the driveway. It's not the yard. But that's a separate issue.
Sure.
You know, but my greenhouse to stay there, I can't move that.
Well,
What is the options here? Because we can't. You can't make me move my wife's greenhouse. That's you have to deal with that.
Well,
Because I'm gonna tell you.
like I say, if this guy over here, we wouldn't let him put an addition on his house out there in the front yard.
But that's
We
not my
wouldn't.
front yard. It's fenced backyard.
technically, it is your front yard, according to what our zoning code says.
Yeah, and it's clear. That's one there's a lot of gray, but that one's clear. Houses on a corner lot have 2 front yards.
So you finally found something to make me move it because you've pecked along. First it's not 10 feet, and then when I proved it's not 10 feet, then it's when I say
All I
okay.
had seen was a picture of it.
But what I'm saying is, you guys have just looked for a way to make me move this thing or take it down, and you finally found one. This is what makes me
this
mad.
is
Is you guys
first-
were.
This is the first
I'm
time I've been
gonna
out
be
here.
honest with you. This is exactly what happened right here. Okay, I told Phil I made him out. I have not driven by here and looked at this or anything. I've seen the pictures of it. All right. Phil calls me right before I got here, and he said, "Man, we got a lot bigger problem than that." He said, "This thing's built on the corner lot. It's in the front yard of his house," and that's the first time Phil's looked at it. And the first time I've
So
looked at it.
to connect these houses legally,
Uh-huh.
does it have to be heated and cooled?
Yes.
How many square feet?
No.
Is there a minimum or a maximum?
It has to be habitable. In other words, it couldn't be a foot wide. If it were a couple things it can't be, because these have been hashed out. Can't just be a roof. Somebody says, "Oh yeah, my garage connected." To their advantage, one way or the other. They say, "Yeah, I got a breezeway there. It's connected." No, it just has to be enough that a person. So if it was 3 feet wide, yeah, if a person could habitate that to walk in there, it couldn't be 6 inches wide. You couldn't take 6 by 6 and say, "All right."
So if I
here
made,
go."
so I don't think about how big I make this closet. I can make it all the way down, or I can make it just the size of this window.
basically,
Basically, it's big enough to walk through.
yeah, basically big enough to walk in. Is it big
I
enough?
think a hall has to be 3 foot wide.
Right. It's got a 36-inch, I think, minimum on it, and
The room, but the door. Do I have to
No,
cut the door that big?
No, door could be,
That size?
roughly.
Because I think my
we don't-
bathroom. I think my bathroom's that size. My
Yeah,
bathroom door is that size.
could well be, and that's just so.
So I could build
walk
something
in
pretty small right here, put a roof on it,
if it's connected with that
If it's
heating
connected,
tool. If you
yeah.
can keep that temperature the same
right?
as
And I could just make it this wide. I could do that all myself without having to have Doyle do it,
true.
and,
That
just,
is
and
true.
not spend much money, and then worry about moving that. How long do I have before I have to move that? Because
That one's out of my realm.
you can't. I mean, you saw what we have planted in there. I mean, that would cost a lot of loss for our crop, our food.
Are you growing marijuana in there? Is
Yes,
that
I
what-
am. And I'll gladly give you all you
Okay.
want. No, I'm not doing any illegal drugs. No, that's all vegetables, all her family. I mean, that's her heritage there. I mean, you're tapping into her heritage now.
Yeah. Well, it may have.
Now,
Like I
the
said-
one good thing about this now, as far as we're concerned, I don't know what your neighbors will think, but the way that's sitting right there, there's going to be complaints about the way it looks from that end back here. Nobody's going to complain about that.
Oh, they will. Trust me. If they're complaining about this, they're gonna complain about
You're probably right. I mean,
Yeah, and that,
whoever it is that doesn't like my wife out there, because she's been out there working a lot for me, and this is just kind of one of those deals where we got people who are using you as a weapon to complain.
And this, I will say, the person that I talked to that stopped me, that I thought he was,
you were in a store or something.
yes, I was in a store, did not mention anything personally about you or your wife. Did he mention your wife? And anyway, he mentioned you by your last name, but it wasn't like that so-and-so does this or that so-and-so does that. He talked about the building. He did not say anything derogatory about you.
Let him
or
bring a
your wife.
lawsuit against me. Let me do what I can to bring this.
Let me just tell you, you got this our whole realm of problems here. If you don't connect this right here, you can't have that building, period.
Well, we're going to connect this.
Okay. If you do connect this right here, the building is still not in compliance. It would have to be moved to the back.
Can I move it after the season?
Like when is that? When is a greenhouse season?
That's true. It would be but it would be easier to move it in the fall than it would be to move it now, since
Would
we
be
got all
easier
those.
to move it probably in a month when it warms up enough where you wouldn't lose your.
Well, it'll get it too hot for the plants, so I need to do it in the fall.
I can't let you. I mean, we can't let you leave it all summer long and in the fall. And I mean, I would say if you move it in the month of.
Because we got to do all this, and I've got to get the money together now to move that. I mean, that's
I
gonna.
understand, and we're not trying to put any kind of.
And
we're
this-
really not, Kyle. I mean,
This project could be second.
This one?
Yes.
Do I
Yeah.
need a permit to do this over there?
yes, you'll have to have a permit to do the accessory building.
Yeah, very minimal.
I don't
Then
know
I
that
have
you'd
to do
have to
this.
have a permit
15
right
bucks.
here.
No.
It
I
doesn't
don't
matter
think you
about
will.
$15. I don't
Yeah.
care about the $15, but the problem is I don't think I need a permit. But he won't. I can't get a permit till this is done. So you're saying I can get a permit
No,
to do that?
I would, if there's a way we can help you by letting you worry about that first and this second,
Sure,
as
I don't
long
have
as
a
we,
problem with that.
as long as we know this part's going to get done.
Yeah, this part will get done, but
Okay,
it's a matter of.
I'm the one that will be issuing that, taking care of that part of it, this and all. And I don't have a problem with you worrying about that first, and then you stand right here in front of both of us and say, all right, I'll get this moved in 30 days or 60 days, and then I'll start on this, and by, July 1st, I'll have this done, or August 1st, I'll have this
I
done, or
don't have a
whatever.
problem with that.
And then that way,
I don't even know how wide this is. I don't know if I have enough room. Yeah, I can't do.
Okay, well, but the purpose of that is if somebody's gonna put propane cylinders and stuff in there, we don't have an issue with that. That's a flammable issue.
Really?
Yeah. That, I don't see any issue with that. And you got 5 foot probably. And no overhang, which is good.
Yeah, it would go right up to the building. I'd have to be able to get closer to that.
For real, how wide is it? Do you know?
18.
18? I'll get a tape. Let me go grab my tape. Yeah, that's pretty.
That's why I don't have a backyard. That's my backyard. Well, let him sue me.
Covenants. And there again, we don't enforce them. There's something about accessory building not being more than 200 square feet.
Yeah, well, this covenant's not valid anyways. It says no satellite or television or radio antenna should be located in the front or side yards. FCC says that's you can't regulate that. You can't restrict it. You know that? Yeah. Somebody says they can't have a TV antenna. I mean, it's once put a TV antenna up, you can't put an ordinance or anything against it. No idea. Oh,
Let's see, that's that air conditioner. Yeah, that's, how wide you say it was?
18.
20 feet from the fence to the air conditioner.
So I'd have to be able to go closer to that.
I don't see how you could put that size.
Now,
That's the only size.
Is it?
Yeah.
That is a varianceable issue. Because you have a setback and the Board of Zoning Adjustment can adjust that. They could grant you a variance on that. One thing in your favor that most storage buildings don't have, the reason that that's even in there is because people
And do a
right
lean-to
here,
off of
have
it.
that roof, it's like that, and just shit, and people you could just take a quote and say, "Well, I never had any water issue till that water started running off that roof. Now it's running in my backyard," and you don't have that issue. You don't have any issues. So you would probably be granted a variance on that. I would say they would probably be favorable with you doing that.
So I could put it over here. I could put it off the end of it right here.
Well, it would be, that is 18 feet to the concrete right there.
From the fence?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah, but I'd have to have this. I'd have to have this much room to get by it. Oh, somebody's
And
just being a
he
bastard.
told you, have you ever honestly measured that, or he just told you this is an 18 footer, or did you really measure it?
Well, no, that's what it is online. And I think that's when I measured it out to set the posts. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Somebody doesn't like my wife, or us, me, because now they're saying I have to move it because this is my front yard.
Since when?
Well, that's their little thing.
Never
That's a
in
little city
history
deal.
is this the case. If you went and bought a 10 by 12 building, you know, it'd be a little bit less, but yours is a little bit more. Like 18.6, something like that.
But that's just a plastic piece.
No, it doesn't matter. They're counting this as my front yard. So
So what are they gonna do?
they're telling me I have to move it. I'll take it down. Oh yeah, she's working. Yeah, she's trying.
I know she is.
She's right here. It'll be all right, baby. Yeah. This sucks, gentlemen.
I cannot believe that if this is wider than that that's shocking.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those deals that just not right. Not in America. I mean, this is not right. You can't use your own property, you know, behind your fence in your backyard. Right? I mean,
Behind your fence, yes. Backyard, no.
well,
Not
every other American would call this somebody's backyard.
not-
It's kind of like this would be a driveway and not your yard.
Well, most people call it your side yard.
But it's not my front yard. This is not my front yard. And whoever it is that's doing this complaining needs to come forward to make themselves known.
Well, I think that's a minor issue. I mean,
Well, yeah. But I mean, none of this would be going on if somebody wasn't complaining.
well,
We'd be giving vegetables to the people at church and our neighbors, and they'd all be happy. You know, all my neighbors have come over and they've come in and they've looked at it, they've been excited about it.
And they wanna know if they're gonna get vegetables.
But it's like,
if it was tomatoes,
yeah, there's tomatoes growing in there. So what are we resolving to do here?
oh, I'm sure he'll go back and visit probably the city attorney and just see what
Yeah, because if we can make if we can figure a way around this, because
Like
this
I
is
say,
bad.
That I can answer. It's not. This is a varianceable issue because it says the setback's 5 foot. Well, they could say, no, we'll let you do 3 feet.
Well, can
We'll
we
let you do
challenge
1 foot."
the zoning on this then?
That I have no idea. I don't
Because
know
this
how,
is
other than
wrong.
I don't know.
Because you guys were successful. If they found it something finally, because I'm telling you, man, they came first complaining saying it was too close to the house.
Well, like I
and
said,
they-
when I drove up, that's what stunned me because that nobody had mentioned the fact that.
Oh, they didn't think about that. They were just looking for a way to tell me to take it down, to just.
Because I'm sitting there
Yeah.
looking down the fronts of all these houses.
Well, I just go ahead and call attorney on that to get ready for this, because this is just wrong. Wrong in every way. This is wrong.
Let Jeff go back. I'm sure he'll contact you the next day or two and see what's going on with it.
Yep. Well, this is
And
just
like I
wrong.
say, if whatever happens past that project can wait, just so we have assurance that it'll get done. If that's something that needs to be in there.
So that's my backyard, and this is not my backyard. This is my front yard. Even though my front door and everything's that way, that's just beautiful. It's beautiful. So.
A lot of people have trouble understanding it, and
Well,
that
that's
one,
what's wrong with our government right there.
Yeah, I don't know who wrote that. I did not, but it's
Well.
been in there as long as I've had any dealings.
Well, that's
with
what's
it.
wrong with our government. They're reaching into everybody's pockets and they're telling us what we can do on our own land.
Uh-huh.
It's wrong.
And up front, the principle's correct. I understand.
Sure, and I didn't build it up front.
And
you know?
then at that, on the one hand, you would say common sense says, all right, you've declared where your front yard is.
That's correct.
But then on the negative of that, like I say, this,
It's behind the fence.
Right, you could get to a point very quickly where you'd have vision trouble. If you built a 6 foot fence, if you said, all right, there's my front
I get that,
now.
but my fence was built when the house was built, established when I bought it. This is my backyard.
Yeah.
This is just.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here. And he'll, like I say, the powers that be. I'm just
Well,
mix it up. Hey,
Heavy on the mister.
huh?
I said heavy on the mister. I said Mr.
Oh,
Watkins.
no, heavy on
No,
that.
heavy on the
figure out a solution for me.
All right, man.
We can find a solution, and you're gonna have to deal with that.
You what?
You have to go in there. And deal
Oh,
with
I
that.
know.
You all right? It's gonna be okay.